What is up, guys? Anglers here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to discuss what my favorite summertime baits are. These are not in specific order. These are just my favorite baits in categories. They're going to go from hard baits to either skirted baits and soft plastic, stuff like that. So, like jigs and stuff. So, these are not really in... Oh, gosh. What is up? This is my cat, Alex. Get off. Oh, okay. What are you doing? Anyways, let's get right into the video, shall we? Alright, guys, so one of my favorite baits to fish in the summertime. No. My cat's trying to get up. Oh, yeah. Alright, well, I guess he's gonna join us. So, one of my favorite baits to fish around the summer, you know, in places that have a lot of crawfish in, they're like an orange color, like some of them around here, is this KVD square bill. It's the 1.5 size, and it's the craw colored square bill. And I like to use this whenever I see crawfish that are brown and yellow and orange, stuff like that. And it's just a really good bait. It's a bait that I use almost all year round, so this is one of my favorite baits. And in the same kind of category is a little just regular DT series crankbait. It's the smaller size, and it's got like a little sunfish pattern. I thought that was pretty cool. I've had this for a while. Haven't caught a fish on it just yet. I almost had one, but he popped off the hooks and he jumped, and I was really mad. So that really sucked. This, like I said, this is a DT4, and I like to use this around the places where it's got a lot of green sunfish and bluegill. That's what it represents, and it dives 4 feet, hence the name DT4, so that's a really good bait. Another good bait is the spook. Now, the spook, this is a really good bait. Honestly, everybody loves to fish spooks in the summer and springtime, but since this is a summer video, the spook is good for the summer. Who doesn't like throwing topwater in the summer? Other baits that I like to throw topwater that aren't going to include in this video because I don't have them is a soft plastic topwater frog or a hollow belly frog, and maybe an occasional popper here and there. But who doesn't like throwing topwater in the summer? That's like the best time to throw it is in the summer. So this spook here, this Strike King KVD Sexy Dog spook will do it for you. I think this color is fluorescent shad. I'm not sure what color it is, but it's a really nice color, and I really love the action of this spook. Very well made. Alright, another bait is a jig. A jig works really well in the summertime, and I just really like throwing it. It's a green pumpkin jig, you know, it's got some green flecks in there, stuff like that, and it's a really good jig. The trailer I got running on this is a Chigger Craw by Powerbait. It's got really long pinchers. You can clip those a little bit if you'd like. It has a good weed guard right there, as you can tell. And oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Alright, after we were rudely interrupted by my cat. Like I said, it's got a really good weed guard, as you can see there. I think it's 3/8. I don't know how big it is, 1/8, something like that. I'll have to look again. But it's a green pumpkin jig, and it's got some green fleck in there. It's a really good jig, and trailer that I got running on it is a Powerbait Chigger Craw in green pumpkin, and this is a good combo of jig and trailer. I really think that's a good trailer. It works really well. It flaps really good, and you know, it's got a lot of action in the little antennas there. And I really think it's a good jig. Strike King makes good jigs. They're my favorite jigs. And the only thing I really don't like about this jig in particular, it's not every jig they make, but it's just this jig in particular. It's got that really heavy-duty hook, so it leaves a lot bigger hole in the fish's mouth when you have it hooked. But then again, it is like a heavy-duty jig, so you know, I can't really do nothing about that. But other than that, it's a really good jig, really good bait. Love using it again this summer. Alright, our next bait is a buzzbait. Not a buzzbait. A chatterbait by Z-Man. This is a chatterbait, like I said, by Z-Man, and it's in green pumpkin. Trailer I got running for it is a Z-Man Minnow Z, or however you say it, Z-Man Minnows. I think it's Z-Man Minnows with the Z. It's a really good bait for the summertime, you know. If it had a golden blade, it really would have worked way better, but, you know, it's got a silver blade. But I'd really prefer golden blade for my area, and I think it'd really work well. It still works really well for the summertime, but other than that, another color that I like to use is a black and blue. And this is the black and blue Z-Man chatterbait as well, and it's got a junior paddle tail fluke, or swimming fluke, and you know, it's got a paddle tail, and it's the color smoke and shad. It's got silver and blue fleck in there. I think it makes for a really good trailer for this color, and it works really well in the summertime, and that's why I love to use it. So let's move on to the next bait. Our next bait is a swim jig, and this is a shad patterned swim jig. It looks really well in the water. You know, it's got a really good weed guard. This is also by Strike King. It's not a heavy structure swim jig. It's just a regular swim jig. The weed guard's not too thick, as you can see right there. So I can't really fish it near thick cover, thick brush, stuff like that. Just swim it in the open, or where the schools of shad are. It represents a shad. So the trailer I got running on it is a mini Kitech bait. It's got a black top and a white pearl bottom, and what I really like about this swim jig is it's got a little bait keeper right here, you know, and that really helps a lot. Keep your trailer on there so it don't pop off or slide down the jig, and I think it's a really good bait for this time, and I love using the swim jig where the shad are really abundant in the lake. Like a lake around here that I know. I might go there this weekend, hopefully, and try and catch some crappie and some bass. But they have tons of shad, so I think this swim jig might be the key on that lake. That lake is really pressured and it's hard to catch bass, so it's going to be hard to catch them bass, but it's not going to be hard to catch crappie, so hopefully we do good. Our final bait, or our final baits, not bait, this is a Gary Yamamoto Senko. It's black and blue. It's good for the lakes around here where they are really murky, and this Gary Yamamoto Senko works really well. My favorite ways of rigging it is a weightless Texas rig or a wacky rig, but those are my favorite ways of rigging it. Those are the only ways I rig a Senko, but it's a very versatile bait. You can rig them many different ways, but my favorite ways are a weightless Texas rig and a wacky rig, and out of those two, I wacky rig it the most, and it just seems to catch fish, so that's why I love throwing Senkos in the summer. When the days are tough and you haven't been catching much, the Senko will do the work. Our next bait is a Texas rig brush hog. I have a 3/0 EWG hook on here, Gamakatsu. I'd really like to throw maybe a 2/0, something smaller, on the brush hog. That's my opinion, though. I don't know how y'all guys rig y'all's brush hogs or what size of hooks y'all throw on yours, but I like to throw a 2/0, but I do not have 2/0 Texas rig hooks. I just have 3/0s right now, so I'm just gonna have to do with what I got. Like I said, this is my go-to bait. This is honestly my favorite bait to use, is a Texas rig. Texas rigs, I love to use Texas rigs. The only thing I use, well, not the only thing, but the bait that I really love to throw on a Texas rig is a brush hog. It's my go-to bait if I'm not catching anything, you know. There's been days where I wasn't catching them on anything but either a Senko, but when the bite stops on that, I pulled out one of these bad boys and Texas rigged it, and it seems to do the job. It's green pumpkin. That's my favorite color for a baby brush hog, and just the brush hog is my go-to bait. I really love throwing Texas rigs in the summer, and that's just my go-to bait. You know, I really love to use it. But if I'm not catching anything on a brush hog, which would be really weird, because I mostly do, is a craw, and usually I'd throw a craw before I'd throw the brush hog, but really the only thing I rig a craw on is a wobble head rig. As you can see there, it's a tungsten head, and, you know, it's a wobble rig, so the weight, you know, moves around. You know, for craws, I don't really like throwing them on Texas rigs, but that's just me. I don't know, it's just weird. I like to throw them on wobble head rigs like this one, or a shaky head rig, but that's just me, you know. If I was to punch with a craw, then I would use a Texas rig and peg the weight, but I don't have any weight pegs, and I'm not punching right now. So I really like to use a wobble head rig on a craw. This is a Berkeley power bait chigger craw, and it's got an interesting smell. It's not bad, but it's also not good. It's a very powerful smell, and you know, this is just one of my favorite baits as well to use in the summertime. So either I throw it on a wobble head rig, like I said, or a shaky head. That's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see me do a specific type of video, please put that in the comments below. If you're new, please subscribe and leave a like on this video. Once again, this is the 806 Anglers, and we'll see you on the next one. Bow!